Greetings, family. I hope everyone is feeling well today. I hope that you were able to view my last video and that you were able to take advantage of that um, personal hug and personal stretch. And I mentioned that those are things that you will want to do on a regular basis in order to release stress as you work out at the computer. Yeah. Okay. And it's also a nice way to get you to get involved or connected with the upper body. We normally don't use our hands above our heads for a lot of things. And so to be able to stretch and bring the hands up over the head and behind the body is a pleasure. So I decided that, I'm sharing this transformation journey with you and didn't even take the time out to give you the definition of transformation because it has to make sense. I wanted to define the process so that there would be an understanding of what this is really all about. So, the Cambridge English Dictionary describes transformation as this: a complete change in the appearance or character of something or someone, especially so that that thing or person is improved. Now, as I went searching and I Googled definition of transformation, there were some other um, definitions that came on that popped up on my screen. But I'm telling you, this one that I read to you was the best. It was the end part that I focused on more. I read it again, just that end part, especially so that that thing or person is improved. So when I'm talking about transformation, I can't pinpoint it as just being one thing. It's not just mental, it's not just physical, it's not just spiritual, it's not just financial, it's not just educational. Those things can come, but if we're not careful, it can pile on and create a sense of stress and imbalance in life. And so, as we go on this transformation journey, it is important that we find balance, that we are able to connect with the inner part of our being. Ask ourselves, how do we feel in this transformation journey? I talked about before, my question every time I went on a trip is, are we there yet? But as I'm talking to you now, I think that that's not the question I should be really asking. Because remember, I said it's the process of getting there that we need to be focused on, not just the end game. With that being said, the question I should always be asking myself is, how does this make me feel? Now, I remember when I used to run marathons. I didn't do a lot, you know, that wasn't a big deal in my life. When I did my first one, I thought, okay, I did it. So I'll do a second one because I wanted to have a different experience. Then I did a third one, and that was a different experience from the first two. but it didn't make me feel good anymore. And so I stopped completely. I was like, no. My toes got jacked up. I ended up having a problem with the way that I walked. I can't remember what happened, but I sustained an injury or pulled muscle that was, it lasted a while. And it, I realized that it wasn't fun for me anymore. It did not make me feel good. And that was, oh my goodness, over 30 something years ago, like maybe not 30, 25 years ago. And to this day, I do not enjoy running. I can walk for hours, I can walk for miles. Now, I can walk 27.2 miles without a problem from start to finish. Don't need to take a break. Now, of course, I'm not walking for speed, so I'm not having that funny gait walk. I'm just walking and enjoying myself and looking at people and waving hello. I'm enjoying the process and not the goal of getting to the end line, to the finish line. You know, the idea was that the clock was always ticking down, and they talked about a PR in these races. Um, it was your personal best. I forgot what the term was. I mean, I was reading books about running and marathoning, and I'm walking around here with a clock. Was it a Fitbit? They didn't have Fitbit at the time. It was a Casio exercise watch. Remember those watches by Casio? It was fancy, so I thought it was. But you had to log everything in, and you just press start, and you could have a rhythm, beep beep beep, and it keep your tempo going and all of that. I think it did everything except log it in remotely into the cloud. And so I had to write everything down and stuff. But I my goal was always to have a personal best. And so I was always racing against myself. And I began to realize that everything that I did, I was doing with the race against me. And I shouldn't be in competition with me. I should be my best me, and everything that I do should be to make me feel good. And sometimes when you're competing, you look at the other person as them being your enemy. So my enemy was my inner me. I looked at the man in the mirror and said, I need to beat you. I need to be better than you. I need to think higher than you. I need to work harder than you. Whatever expectation you have, I'm going to do it even higher. And so I'm going back to the definition of there being approval. Was that the word? And or increase. Let me just look at that again. It's here on my other phone. I took a snapshot of it. I want to be very clear. It says, especially so that that thing or person is improved. Well, for all of us, you would have to ask yourself, what does improvement look like to you? And then that's where you start. You're not looking at what other people are doing and how they're doing it. You are making a mental note about self from a friendly point of view. And then saying to yourself, I'm already good. How do I become better? How do I improve myself? And you take a mental checklist without criticism, and then you start on the journey to change or improve the things that you've written down on your checklist. And those changes are probably not going to happen overnight, but you are going to start the process, enjoy the journey, and instead of asking, are we there yet? Ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Now, I'll tell you something funny about the brain. I know for me, if something was routine, I would get bored very easily, and I want to be like, I want to stop, I want to finish. And a lot of times I would get out there in Central Park at lunchtime and I'd start running and I'm going up the hill and I'm breathing and I'm tackling the hill. And then all of a sudden boredom would set in real quick and I want to stop. And I have to ask myself, does anything hurt? And what I was asking myself is, how are you feeling? Does anything hurt? No? Then keep going. And that's what I had to do. I kept right on going. And it allowed me to get from 1 mile to 2 miles to 3 miles. So I'm going to check out here. My goal was to get here earlier and I did not. And now it's getting busy with people because today is still a holiday and there's music in the background. And I'm hoping that that's not going to interfere with posting my video. So we'll talk tomorrow about stretching and what that looks like. In the meantime, please do me a favor. I just checked my analytics. Do you know you need 100, not 100, 1,000 subscribers in order to get monetized? Monetization? Yeah, I did retire early, but now I need to make some money. So do me a favor. Subscribe to my channel, share with some people, like it or dislike it. It still creates what? Interest. Yeah? And then I'll talk to you soon. In the meantime, I like to ask you, how are you feeling today? If there's something that you want to improve, maybe you start today. But give yourself a big hug. And don't be so critical. Okay? Peace, love, namaste, and ashe from the ancestors.